I once had to ask a complete stranger in downtown for $1 when I went broke. It was embarrassing. I actually cried after. And what makes the story even crazier is less than a year later, I was making six figures. But here's the part nobody talks about. I lost it all. So if you're watching this thinking, man, I'm broke right now, I'm behind, I messed up everything, I need you to hear me out. Being broke is not the most dangerous financial position you can be in right now. The dangerous position is making money and never learning how to keep it, multiply it, and build something your family can inherit. You see, in Proverbs 13:22, it says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So I didn't know that going into the game. So I learned the hard way. See, income can change your life temporarily, but stewardship can change your family's future permanently. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. But more importantly, I'm going to show you the lesson I wish somebody had taught me before I ever made my first six figures. Before we get into it, comment the word bounce back if you're currently rebuilding something in your life right now. In July of 2019, I moved to America. I was excited. As most foreigners watching this, you probably could relate. We always see on TV the American dream. Foreigners or immigrants moved to America. They built the dream. They moved here with a few dollars in their pocket. They became a millionaire. We hear all those stories over the years growing up as immigrants outside of America. That's why most people move to America, because we always hear those type of those dreams and those stories, right? So I moved here with big expectations, but 2 months later I went broke. And I didn't come from a place where I was constantly struggling like many other immigrants. I came from the islands where my life was good, comfortable, no issues. I had a home with pool, 2-story. I had a home at 21 years old. A pool, right in town. I was living good. No problems whatsoever. So when I came to America, I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought, I'll figure it out. And honestly, I did not understand how quickly life could humble you. Within about 2 months, like I said, I was broke. Not the kind of broke that you say, well, I can't afford a vacation I want to go on. No, I'm talking about I don't have money for basic necessities. I remember having to ask the stranger, like I said, for $1. And I remember how ashamed I felt after that. Because there's something psychologically different about being unable to provide for yourself. It attacks your identity. You start asking, how did I get here? What happened to me? How am I going to get out of this? And I remember sitting in my car crying. Serious thing. But that moment became one of the most important moments of my life, because I made a decision. I recorded a video basically telling myself I'm going to change my life. Didn't know exactly how, but I knew I couldn't stay where I was. And that brings me to the first lesson. Sometimes the lowest point in your life becomes the place where you finally make a decision. And I'm not romanticizing poverty. Being broke is hard, trust me. But there was something that happened internally when I realized nobody was coming to rescue me. Nobody coming to rescue you. No one is coming to rescue you. And to take responsibility for what happened next. And that's when I went all in on learning how to build an online business. I started putting my energy into my Shopify store. And I want you to understand something. The store didn't magically save me. I had to learn. I remember going to Uber and earning the money to buy a course to learn about creating an online store. And I did this during the time in 2020. We all know what happened then, right before the lockdowns globally. I did this the month before the lockdown. I did this 3 weeks before the worldwide lockdown on March 1st, I think it was, in 2020. I invested in a course. I took a chance and it paid off. Like I said, I had to learn, I had to experiment, I had to invest in myself, I had to fail. I had to do Uber to earn the money up to pay for this course during that time. I had to figure out marketing. I had to figure out customers. I had to figure out how to sell. And that distinction matters because a lot of people want the income without developing the skill. But here's where my story gets crazy. Because just a few months later, the entire world changed. Around February and March 2020, like I said, lockdowns began unfolding. Businesses were shutting down. People were losing jobs. Consumer behavior was changing almost overnight. The whole world changed. And because I had already been building an online store, I was positioned inside a massive shift toward e-commerce. Everything kind of went online. People did Zoom. Everything shifted to online. But I was in the right place at the right time. And suddenly, I started seeing money I had never seen before in my entire life. My Shopify online store started taking off. And within a few months, I hit 6 figures. Think about the psychological whiplash. In one moment, I was asking somebody for $1. $1. Then I'm looking at numbers in my business that I had never imagined seeing. And here's where I want you to stop and think. What would happen if the person who is currently broke suddenly made $100,000? Would they become wealthy? Not necessarily. Because here's the mistake I made. I confused making money with becoming wealthy. So be honest with me. If you suddenly receive $100,000 tomorrow, would you know exactly what to do with it? Comment yes or no. Here's the trap. When you've been broke for a long time, money doesn't just give you purchasing power. It gives you emotional relief. You finally feel like, I made it. So you start upgrading everything. You start spending differently. You start thinking differently. You start believing, I deserve this. And some of that isn't necessarily bad, but there's a dangerous psychological shift that can happen. Because during that time, people losing their jobs, businesses going out of business, I upgrade my lifestyle. I moved up into a big condo, 30-foot ceilings, 2-story. I was leveling up. I end up leaving a 1-bedroom studio and moved into the most affluent neighborhood in my city. 2-story condo, right? 30-foot ceilings. I was living it up. I remember having family come over and say, wow, your business did all this? Everyone was so shocked. Again, we left a 1-bedroom studio, right? They moved right into the most affluent neighborhood, 2-story condo, 30-foot ceilings. My family and friends were shocked. And again, we did it in the most rough time in history, during 2020. That's what my Shopify store allowed me to do when I leveled up my skills. But there's a dangerous psychological shift that can happen. You stop asking, how can I make this money produce more money? And you start asking, what can this money buy me? That's a completely different mindset. And this is where generational wealth becomes important. Because generational wealth isn't simply how much money did you make. It's what did your money become? Did it become an appreciating asset, a business, an investment, education, skills, property, intellectual property, a system, something your children can inherit from? Or did it simply become a better lifestyle so you can show off and flaunt to your family and friends? Because I made the mistake of focusing too much on income and not enough on stewardship. Here's the truth that might offend somebody. 6 figures does not automatically mean you're wealthy. You can make $100,000 and still be financially fragile. You can make $200,000 and still have nothing meaningful to show for it. You can make $500,000 and still be one bad year away from starting over, like I did. I know because I've experienced the extreme version of it. And this is why I'm so passionate about financial education right now, in the lens of faith especially. Because I don't want people watching my story thinking, I just need to make more money. No. You need to become the type of person who knows what to do when more money arrives. Because if your habits don't change, more money can simply create more expensive problems. Let's play a little game. I want you to complete this sentence in the comments for me. If I make $100,000 this year, the first thing I would do is fill that out for me. I'm curious to see your answers. But there was another problem as well. And honestly, this one is harder to admit. Ego. Yeah, I said it. My ego was a problem. When you've gone from begging or asking for $1 to making 6 figures, it's very easy to start believing, I figured out. I'm the big boss. I'm the man. Yeah, man. That was the mindset I had. Trust me. And that's dangerous. Because the moment you think you know everything, you stop learning. You stop sharpening the skills. You stop listening. You stop asking questions and stop preparing for the next season. And that's exactly what happened to me. I became too comfortable, too complacent. I became too confident in myself. And spiritually, I became lukewarm. And who wants lukewarm coffee? Nobody, right? Exactly. So I started thinking I had done it all on my own. But Proverbs 16:18 says, pride goes before destruction. And that happened to me exactly. The pride, then destruction happened. Lost it all. And looking back, I can see how pride wasn't just a spiritual problem. It became a financial problem. So because pride makes you think, I don't need to learn anymore. I don't need advice. I'll figure it out on myself. I already know how to make money. And that's when you become vulnerable. The enemy laughs at you when you have that kind of mindset in perspective. And he laughed all the way to my downfall of going broke again. Eventually, the same person who had once begged or asked for $1 on the street was back in a completely different kind of struggle. Like I said, I lost it all. I lost the money, lost home, couldn't pay rent, had to sleep on other people's floor. Was very embarrassing. From going low to high on top of the mountain, and the family and friends praising you, to having to go in to ask them to sleep on their floor. That was an ego hit. I was ashamed. Trust me. I was ashamed. Yeah, man. I lost stability. I lost things I thought I would always have. Like I said, lost my home multiple times during that season. And eventually, I had to confront something painful. I knew how to make money, but I had not learned how to steward what God allowed me to make. That's the key. That realization hurt because it's easy to celebrate the breakthrough. It's harder to examine the behavior that came after the breakthrough. But that's where the real lesson was. God wasn't just teaching me how to bounce back financially. He was teaching me how to become a different person. So if you're rebuilding right now, here's what I want you to understand. Don't make your goal, I just want to make 6 figures. Make your goal, I want to build a financial system that can outlive my current income. That's a different mindset. So start with the basics. Number 1, build a valuable skill. Your ability to create value is one of the greatest assets you can develop right now. Number 2, create multiple streams carefully. Not because having 17 side hustles sounds good, but because you want to reduce your dependence on a single source of income. Your job you think is stable, they can let you off like that and find someone and replace you in a day. During that time, as I mentioned, people lost their job, businesses shut down, people had to make decisions on a whim. They had to cry it off, wipe their tears, and go back to apply for jobs or start a business. Don't depend on one stream of income, including that job. Number 3, turn income into assets. Don't let every dollar that enters your life immediately become consumption like I did. Some of your money needs to become something that can potentially produce more value. Number 4, learn financial stewardship. Budgeting, saving, investing, taxes, debt, business, risk. You don't need to become a financial genius or guru overnight, but you do need to stop being financially unaware like I was when I first moved to America. And number 5, build for the people coming after you, because Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That's the difference between making money and building a legacy. And maybe you're watching this right now and you're saying, man, I've already messed up. Maybe you lost your business. Maybe you lost your money, your home. Maybe you got laid off. Maybe you made terrible financial decisions. Maybe you started over more times than you want to admit. I've been there, trust me. But here's what I want you to remember. Your financial setback doesn't have to become your identity. Your failure can become your classroom. Your pain can become your wisdom. Your pain can become your purpose. Like what I'm doing right now. Your mistakes can become your testimony. And your comeback can become part of your children's inheritance. Just imagine when your children see you overcome the great odds. When they go through a situation in their future, they're going to remember, my mom could do it, my dad could do it, I could do it too. Yeah, man. That's the plan. That's the mindset I want you to adopt from this video. You see me? That's what bounce back year means to me. It isn't pretending the fall never happened. It's deciding I'm not staying there. Like the Bible says as well, fall down 8 times, get up 9. Yeah, man, that's the mindset. And if you're interested in learning more about how I got started with this platform that plays such a major role in my story, I'm going to leave my Shopify link in the description below. And again, Shopify was significant in my journey because during one of the most uncertain periods of my life and in world history, I had built an online store before the world dramatically shifted towards e-commerce. And that experience showed me something I'll never forget. A digital business can become an asset when you know how to build, market, and operate it. I'm sharing the same platform through my link because genuinely, during that time, I used Shopify during that season when my life financially changed. But please don't hear me saying start a Shopify store and you'll make 6 figures guaranteed. No, I didn't say that. Okay? That's not the lesson. The lesson is learn a valuable skill, create value, build an asset, learn stewardship, and keep becoming the person capable of handling what you're praying for. Again, I went from being comfortable back home in the islands to America, to asking a stranger for $1 on the street, to crying because I was ashamed of asking for money, to making 6 figures a few months later, then to losing it all. And now I'm rebuilding with a completely different understanding of what success actually means. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're in your $1 season like I was right now. But don't let your current chapter convince you that this is your entire story. Just don't make the mistake I made of thinking the goal is simply to get money. The goal is to become a better steward, a better leader, a healthier person, a stronger Christian, a wiser financial decision maker, and ultimately someone who can build something that doesn't just change your life, but changes the trajectory of the people who come after you, which is your children and their children as well. Now go ahead and repeat after me. This is my bounce back here. Yeah, man. Later.